the current economic climate in the UK and elsewhere, the kind of political environment that we all live and work in, really demands that people understand and can work with evidence. And by evidence, I'm talking about how do we know what's going to be successful, what will work for our society, and how can we learn about that. So having a master's in social policy and evaluation is absolutely connected to that agenda, which is how important it is for many people in their professional lives, as well as through interest, actually have a good grasp of social policy, what we're doing here, and then understand how we evaluate the implementation of social policy and how we evaluate the practices that come from it. So I'm talking about service provision. For example, here we're at London Met, we're in the borough of Islington. Islington provides services to children and young people. And Islington, as a local authority, they need to know whether or not those services are a useful contribution to young people's lives. So being able to understand where that has come from in terms of policy is very important. And then from my perspective, equally important is that we actually have some understanding of, once you roll a policy out, you develop programs, say for children and young people in the borough, how do we know that that makes a difference to their lives? And so that's what we're doing here with evaluation. It's quite an unusual course to offer, and I think that's part of the attraction, and that's why we want students to come to us. And yet at the same time, we know that there are many people in their professions, so perhaps managing services, again, for a local authority, working with voluntary and community sector organisations, who somewhere in that job description, there may be a line in there which says, and you will need to be able to evaluate the services that are provided. And yet there's very little on-the-job training in evaluation. Equally, there's very little that takes people into their professional position, which is saying, do you really understand, do you know about the policies, the social policies, could be welfare policies, for example, that have led to the development of services. Currently, it's also quite difficult because we know that there are going to be cuts in expenditure, very likely, and again, I think it's so important that people understand what's going to happen, how those decisions get made, what policies come from them, and then how do you make good, wise decisions about what might not continue to exist, and hence evaluation. We have a lot of expertise here at London Met, both in social policy and in evaluation. We encourage researchers that we work with both internally and externally who are involved in real-life evaluation to come and meet with students, talk with students. We also offer opportunities for work placements. I'm co-director of something called Project Oracle. This is a youth evidence hub, children and youth evidence hub for London. And through that, we're able to connect with organisations throughout London who are looking for people who could help them evaluate what they do. It seems to me that's a sort of win-win opportunity that we're providing the support, the training, the supervision here in the university, and we like to be able to link people into real-life experience that will contribute towards their understanding of these practices and processes. So there's a lot to be said for it. It's topical, very timely. We need people who understand policy and evidence and evaluation. And there's probably not enough of this kind of training, if you like, that's being offered. But at a master's level, academic qualification, knowing that people are coming into something that's going to be delivered by colleagues, as I said, here in the university and from outside, who really have experience of both of these arenas, social policy and evaluation, and are able to bring them together for students.